Welcome to our class. He was actually testing the camera. So welcome guys, this is what we'll be talking about today. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending from where you're watching me from. So today this is what we'll be talking about, okay? Easy ways to answer JAMB questions in English. So this JAMB question is a UTME. It's a question that is being asked to students that are seeking for admission in a university, in a polytechnic in Nigeria, okay? So now they'll be planning to write this exam, I think by March, February, March, and then 2025. So now I'll be sharing the tips on how to answer some of these questions in English, use of English. That's what they call it, use of English. So that is what we'll be doing right now. So guys, hold on. I mean, so now these will be the possible questions that will be coming out. These will be the possible questions that will be coming out. And this question, they started writing them since 1983. That was when they started writing this JAMB. And there will be a part of comprehension, like comprehensive passage, whereby you read a passage, and when you read the passage, you'll be able to answer the questions during. Okay, so now this passage is basically a simple thing. So what you are supposed to do there is, whenever you see such questions, a comprehension passage is definitely, it's going to come out. Okay, comprehension a comprehension passage, it's a sure thing, it normally comes out. So when you see some of those questions, you answer them. Now, and this passage says, the approach to the university is being restructured to ease the flow of traffic, give better security, and provide an appropriate introduction to a seat of higher learning. The work and service complex is also under construction, and we intend to move into the completed major part of it within the next few weeks. Now, this is a passage, okay? So I'm trying to read it so that you know what is supposed to come out there. All right. All these projects are being executed with an eye with an eye to exertic, for we are recognizing the important influence of a beautiful and healthy environment in its inhabitants, and feel that a cluster of building on a small space such as we have should be so well designed as to have a beneficial psychological and sociological effects on all members of the community. I have gone to this length to itemize this example of current development for two main reasons. Firstly, to advise you that the road diversion and other physical inconveniences currently being exercised will be on the increase because of the intense development activity. We therefore appeal to you to bear with us in full knowledge and consolation that such inconveniences are temporary and will soon yield final tangible results. Secondly, to demonstrate our capacity for executing approved projects with dispatch. Sorry, and to assure government that we are up to the task. Indeed, I can assure government that its ability to disburse funds to us will be more than matched by our capacity to collect and expand them on executing various world projects in record. So now this is the passage. This is the passage. So how should you approach this question? So there will be the passage, they will be asking questions, and then you are supposed to answer from the passage, okay? What the passage is talking about, all right? So now from the passage, we can gather that A, there is not much consideration for the health of the inhabitants. There is, sorry, let me turn off this. Let me turn off something. I need to turn off something, okay? Okay, guys, welcome back. Sorry, I have to go and attend to something. Okay, so welcome back. So now, easy ways to answer questions in JAMB in use of English. So now, this JAMB, like I earlier said, this JAMB is basically written in Nigeria, and it's a criteria, a requirement for you to be able to get admission into a Nigerian university, a polytechnic, or a college of education. Okay, so now these are the easy. I'm going to be sharing with you the easy tips, the easy ways of approaching a question whenever it's being asked, the easy way of answering the questions whenever it's being asked in the UTME. Okay, so now the first thing first, okay, the first thing first is to fill in. Number one thing to do is to fill in all details carefully. Okay, this is the number one thing to do. Fill in all details carefully. Like most of us, whenever we approach exams, whenever we are supposed to write exams, we don't take careful recognition about this particular thing. Fill in the details, maybe due to tension, or maybe we are in haste to write and stand up and go. But first thing first, if you are in exam, be it JAMB, be it any exam in your location, in your state, wherever you are, if you're about to write exams, like exam that is supposed to give you a requirement to get something in future, I don't know, but if you're supposed to write exam and you're seated in that exam hall, please be careful to fill in all the details. Fill in all the details correctly. Fill in all details correctly. That's the first thing you do. Okay, if you don't do that, at the end of it, it might be that you didn't write your name, you didn't write your number, and because of that, you might not pass that exam. So this is the first thing you need to do before you are set to write exam, in any exam of life at all. Okay, it's not just for JAMB, but even in the life exam, you fill in your details carefully, all right, so that you don't make mistakes. Because once you make mistake, that's where you start failing. Okay, once you make mistake in your details, that's where you start failing. So now that's the first thing you're going to do, and then the next thing you're supposed to do is read instructions thoroughly. Okay, now this is one of the thing that looks so difficult for most people in exams. Okay, when they are seated in exam, they say, after I know this already, I know the instructions, I know what I'm supposed to do, so no need for me to read, I'll just go straight and answer the question. No, there is a reason why the examiner wrote on whether down or up of your answer sheet, that or your question sheet, that you should read the instructions. Okay, so now you read the instructions thoroughly, word by word. Forget about the time. Okay, so when you do these two basic things, the time doesn't matter there. The time doesn't matter there. So you read the instructions thoroughly. Okay, this is one of the things you need to do. The first one, I say fill in all your details carefully, and then the second one is read instructions thoroughly. Okay, not read it halfway. They say read it thoroughly. That's what you should do. Now the next thing is number three thing to do is Okay. The number three thing to do is start with your strongest subject. Start with your strongest subject, despite the fact that in UTME or in JAMB, the subjects that are required, maybe if you're in science, you need chemistry, physics, English, and maths. Okay, if you're in arts, you need English, literature in English, mathematics, and I think CRK. If you choose that, that's for those that are studying art. Okay, so now the first thing you need to do after you have done these things, when you have started answering questions, and that's you are filling all your details carefully, and then you have read the instructions thoroughly, the next thing you should do is start with your strongest subject, the subject that you know that is what is your field. Okay, if you're science, if you're a science student, now you're supposed to start with physics and chemistry. Forget about English and maths. Okay, start with the strongest subjects that you know that this subject, without this subject I can't go. That's the subject you're supposed to start with. Now if you're an art student, you're going to start with literature in English or CRK, which is Christian religious knowledge. Okay, that's the first question you should start answering, the first subject you should start answering. Okay, so now if you're commercial, the first subject you should start answering is accounting, economics, okay, and commerce. These are your basic subjects you're supposed to start answering. Okay, so now when you start answering the strongest question, and then by the time you head to English, by the time you head to maths, it might not maybe the time my there is enough time for it anyway. There should be enough time for it. But when you start with your strongest subject, your strongest subject could be mathematics, okay, and then maybe your strongest subject could be uh, chemistry, biology, okay, physics. So when you start with them, you start solving them, you start answering them. Before you know, the other ones you're supposed to answer will just be coming in. Okay, so that's the next thing you're supposed to do. That's the next thing you're supposed to do. Now, number one thing is this is the fourth thing you need to look out for. Okay, avoid spending too much time on any single question. Okay, now a question that maybe is the question asks like uh, what is a noun. Okay, now you already know what, maybe you might, some people might not know what is a noun. Okay, I'm just giving you an instance. Okay, now that question is just a single question. It's just a single. Now there are some questions that will come in and then they will say simplify or list or do this or do that. Those are the questions you should focus on. Avoid spending too much time on just one single question. You can just do you can just leave that question, and maybe when you are done you come back to that question. Okay, but avoid spending too much time. Okay, avoid spending too much time on any single question. Right, this is the thing you need to look out for. Avoid spending too much time on single questions. Now the fifth So now this is what you need to do. The fifth easy way of answering a question in JAMB is manage your time wisely using the provided timer. Sorry, using the provided time. Avoid wasting too much time. Manage your time. Manage your time. Be conscious of the time. Be conscious of the time at which you are answering your question. Please, this is really going to help you in answering JAMB questions. It's not just JAMB questions, even any other questions, any other exams that you're planning to write. Please, this thing should be your main focus, okay? This is just a simplified way of answering the question in JAMB or in any exam. First, you fill in your details carefully, right? And then second, you read instructions thoroughly. Read instructions thoroughly. You might not, if you did not read instructions, you might not know how many questions they have asked you to answer. You get, like, so in some exams, people stand up and say, "Ma, how many questions are we supposed to answer? Are we supposed to answer all the questions?" That's wrong. If you did not read the instructions, you will be asking such questions. But if you read the instructions, if you read the instructions thoroughly, there must be a place where the examiner said you should do this and you should do that. So if you are writing any exams, please be careful enough to read the instructions thoroughly. Okay? And now the third one is start with your strongest subject. Start with the strongest questions. Like if it's not in JAMB, you can start with your essays. Okay, leave obj could be answered maybe after when you finish doing your essays, because majorly or mostly essays carries more marks, and essays is it has to do with your mind, you get. So you start with your strongest subject. Start with your strongest subject. And then number 4, avoid spending too much time on any single question. Avoid spending too much time. If you did not understand that particular question, please go to the next question. Don't waste your time on one question. Once you don't understand, move to the next question. Maybe as you're answering the next question, you are getting the answer to the one you just left. Okay, so just avoid spending too much time on a single question. And then the fifth one is manage your time wisely using the provided timer. If you have an invigilator in the hall and he's saying, now the time is like this, you are about avoid, in fact, manage your time. Time is money. Time is knowledge, okay? So manage your time very well so that you'll be able to answer your questions correctly, and then you submit at the appropriate time. Okay, so this is basically what you need to know. This is basically what you need to know. The first one, most of you be saying, I don't care, I better leave that one. Let's just go straight and start answering questions. This is very important. Very, very important. If you do not do this, you do not do this, and you did this one and this one, you have failed. You have started failing already. Okay? So you need to do this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Do all of them. Yes. So now I'll be taking questions if there are any questions, okay? Let me check my viewers.
Maybe.
So guys, that will be the end of today's lesson. That will be the end. So see you tomorrow in the morning as we do our morning routine. Okay, normally we do our morning routine every morning. So see you tomorrow as we do our morning routine, our afternoon assignment, and then our evening class. So that's what we basically do here, okay? So have a lovely day, have a lovely night, have a lovely afternoon, and remain blessed. And remember, I love you. I love you all for staying tuned, for watching my video, for all that you have done. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye. Woo.
Come on, the thing is safe now. One day now watching.
You that you're still here. What did you gain from my lesson today? Did you enjoy the class? Very slowly.
Oh, God.
Mm.